What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Hope y'all have had a good weekend thus far. Still waiting on some people to get in here. So, today we're going to do another shallow dive live where I do a shallow dive on some companies by request by you guys. So, if you want to go ahead and request a company, I'll get them written down and get to as many as I possibly can and go from there. Also today in this live stream, I will be putting up some new trucks on the board back here for the Cab Climb Club. I had to rearrange a little bit to be able to fit the ones that I got going up. I'm going to need to get me a bigger bulletin board. How's everybody doing this evening? What is going on? Let me see if I can work on sharing this live a little bit. Is everybody doing all right tonight? Well, matter of fact, while we're waiting here for some people to join, I do have all of these Cab Climb Club inductees. Cab Climb Club basically is for folks that have started in the trucking industry. Since watching my content, I'm hoping to be helpful to as many people as I possibly can. So this is kind of a way to give credit to you guys where credit is deserved. You guys have put in the hard work to get your CDL, go to a training company, go out with a trainer for however long, and from there, get into your own first solo truck driving job and get into your own truck. Many people go over the road. There's a few in here today that have stayed a little bit more local, so that's awesome for them that they were able to do that. It is a rare find to find a local job straight out of CDL school, but there are some that are able to make that happen. So always call around to your local area, see if there's anybody that'd be willing to take you on as a new driver. 9 times out of 10, though, you just got to go over the road and deal with that short time of training just to get started in the industry. What's going on, everybody? Let me know in the chat if you're in here. Let's see here. Doop-a-doop-doop-doo. What's going on, everybody? We got 11 people in here. Welcome in, welcome in. We know the drill by now, right? Shallow Dive Live, request a company, and see what we can find out about them really quick. CB Freight or System Transport or ATS. Well, pick one, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I'll write them down. CB Freight, System Transport. Which one would you prefer out of those three? Which one would you prefer, just in case other people come in here? Got to share the love around a little bit. ATS, I believe we've done that one before on a Shallow Dive Live. If you haven't checked that out, not positive, but I believe that one. So if you have to either, no worries. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Am I out of Tennessee? Yes, I am located in Tennessee, originally from Northwest Indiana, and that's where the trucker 219 comes from. 219 is the area code out of Northwest Indiana, and that's when I started the channel. Honestly, I started this channel specifically only a year after being a truck driver. Tried multiple times to make it work, couldn't stay consistent with it, but only about coming up actually on 2 years ago now, I decided to be consistent with being a YouTube content creator, trying to help pass some knowledge along to the younger generation of drivers. I've already spent a lot of time as a driver, so I figured I'd have some knowledge to pass back to you guys, and hopefully you guys have a successful career based off of some experience being passed down to you. A lot of this industry is very much so gatekeeping, where I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You got to figure it out on your own, and that's not the type of person I am. I like to help people. I think that's my mission in life, is to be of help to people in one way or another. So I take what I know, which is trucking, and turned it into some content, and you guys are enjoying it. Mahal, I believe I've seen your comment for that company. Mahal out of Bakersfield, California. I was hoping you were coming in here to check that out because it seems like a very small company, and I doubt it would see the light of day on a full deep dive. So I definitely want to get to that. Bakersfield. I did put it in my fancy spreadsheet there. Bakersfield, California. What else? McElroy or Cypress. I'm having a hard time choosing between TMC, McElroy, or Cypress. Honestly, TMC is the best out of those three. Much larger of a company, better pay, a lot more structured, in my opinion. Now, I can't tell you which company to go to work for because it's very much so a personal choice. What do you want? Do you want to be home all the time? Do you want to make a ton of money? Are you just looking to get experience and want people that treat you nice? It all depends on what you're looking for. So I try to show that in the deep dives that I do. McElroy, I know there was a guy that I went to school with. He said there's no other company I want to work with. McElroy's it. Cypress Truck Lines, they seem fine. I did a deep dive on them, and they're okay. But I found a lot of people, even though they're based out of Jacksonville, Florida, a lot of people have been having issues getting into that company, even though they're right there. So that's the issue I see with that. Titan Transfer out of Shelbyville, Tennessee. Titan Transfer. Okay. All right. We got a few companies written down here. I'm going to go ahead and throw up these. Actually, I think I'm going to do it outside of the live stream, so I'm not taking a bunch of time putting pins in the wall. But I do want to give a shout out to a few individuals who have joined the Cab Climb Club. Number one, I apologize if you're in here and I don't know how to pronounce your username, but it is More Zahajadu. More Zahajadu went to work with Well Truck Leasing. So they are going to be going on the Cab Climb Club right after this live stream. So shout out to More Zahajadu. Next up, we got Bagel Ammo. Been in the Discord server for a very long time. Appreciate you, Bagel. And they went to go to work for a concrete company, moving concrete around. Local job, straight out of CDL school. If you can get it, get it. Call around, talk to those people, see if you can get it. Well done, Bagel. Appreciate you. All right, next up, we have President Not Sure. President Not Sure is also a member on the channel. So if you want to become a member on the channel, all that does is give you a special badges and emojis and a shout out in a video if you decide to become a member on the channel. It's like $2 a month or something like that. I don't need your guys' money. I get a bunch from the ad revenue on YouTube, so I try not to take so much money from you guys. It's just a fun way to have a little extra something going on in the comment section when you're commenting and a shout out in a video. But President Not Sure, member on the channel as well as the Discord server. So he went and started working with NFI as a yard jockey. Not Western Express, blur that out. He's not working for Western Express, he's working for NFI. So as a yard jockey, which is super cool if you can get into that. I've never been a yard jockey, but you can get a crap ton of experience backing up. And 90% of the accidents that happen are in the process of backing up. So if you can get in doing that, that's awesome. Brian Woodley, what's up? How you doing? Welcome in. Next up, we got Julian. Julian went to work for Halver Truck Lines. And funny story about Halver, just a heads up, just for the shits and giggles over here. Sorry for cussing on the live, but so we got Halver Truck Lines. There's one in, I believe it's South Bend, Indiana. Now, I told you guys that I'm originally from Northwest Indiana, and I still have some family working at Northwest, like in Northwest Indiana. In fact, I have a brother of mine. We recently started a second YouTube channel called Brazen Banter. If you ever want to check that out, not here to plug that, but there it is. He does delivery for a uniform company up there. And he went into Halver Truck Lines as he normally would, making deliveries. And she had mentioned, or he had mentioned the new channel that we had started, and showed her a picture, a lady that was sitting there at the desk, and she was like, your brother looks really familiar. Is he also a YouTuber? Like, does he do stuff on YouTube? And he was like, yeah, I totally forgot he has this whole other channel that he does, Trucker 219. And she's like, I feel he looks really familiar. Well, it turns out the Halver Truck Lines deep dive has circulated all over Halver Truck Lines. It's been sent to upper management, all this. They were talking about how the company was reviewed and viewed from a trucker's perspective. Some of them weren't super happy with my critiques of them. However, you know, it's pretty crazy that it's circled around the whole upper echelon of Halver Truck Lines. Everybody got an email about it. Pretty wild story to hear. So, but shout out to Halver Lines. I try to be honest and fair with these reviews. So, Halver Lines from Julian. And last up, going on to the Cab Climb Club. Again, if you want to join the Cab Climb Club, all you have to do is go to school, get your CDL, go out with a trainer, spend a bunch of money on CDL school, spend some time in a truck with a trainer, eventually get your own solo truck. I'm just kidding. It's not that small of a thing. It's a really big deal to be doing that. And I want to give a shout out to you guys for doing that and joining the Cab Climb Club. Send me a picture of your first solo truck, and I will put you up here a picture of your truck or you or your dog or whatever you want. We'll throw it up there on the Cab Climb Club bulletin board. I do need to get a bigger bulletin board because these are going to fill it up right here. But we got Black Skull. Black Skull went to TMC. So the Discord server is a fantastic place to get some more information about a lot of these companies real time from drivers who are currently working there. All of these pictures are coming from individuals on the Discord server. So that's a great place to send me your picture of your truck. You can also email it to me at thetrucker219@gmail.com, and we'll get you put up. So shout out to all the Cab Climb Club members. Good job. Congratulations. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task to pass the CDL exam. Dealing with trainers, getting through that first little hurdle of becoming a truck driver. It does get a little bit easier after that, but that's the hardest part, and you guys are going to do just fine. You're going to have nice long careers, and I'm very proud of you. So that aside, shall we do it? A shallow dive live. Let me check up these comments. Cool, I'm in Crossville. Hey, buddy, you're like an hour away from me. Maybe a little bit more than, probably about an hour and a half. You're about an hour and a half. I'm kind of in the Chattanooga area. I'm not going to give my exact location, obviously, because there's creeps on the internet. Love you guys, and I don't think you guys will come and try to slaughter my family or anything like that, but I'm not trying to give out that much information, especially on a live stream where getting swatted is definitely a thing. So we are pretty close. Maybe we'll meet up sometime, Mr. Matt. Keep up the great work and the intel. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. I do believe aren't you a member on the channel as well, Brian? I believe so. Let me look here. I actually got my stuff pulled up. Members. Brian Woodley. Yeah, you are a member on the channel. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. That's why your name must be in green. Got it. Oh, yeah, I can see my little badge. You see the badge on Mr. Brian Woodley's thing there? That is for being a member on the channel. I'm an idiot. I should have known that. Congratulations, everyone. That's definitely right. All right, so the first one we got here was a request from Farazi Shakier 7997, and that is for, we're going to do CB Freight, if that's all right with you. We are going to jump in. Let me see what I can find here, and then we'll flip over to the other screen. CB Freight. Schaumburg, Illinois. Is that the one you're talking about? CB Freight. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Yeah, buddy. Eventually, man, when this thing gets big enough, I'd love to do a meetup with people. I'd love to schedule an event. I have some ideas for things that I'd like to do, all in due time. I'm still a relatively small channel, despite putting quite a bit of work over the last couple of years, but that's all right. I appreciate everybody coming in here. But we are looking at CB Freight out of Schaumburg, Illinois. Let me flip over to the reaction side here. All right. So it says Flatbed Gallery Careers on their main website here. Family owned, premium trucks, 30% of the gross. Ugh. Ugh. Are you asking me to review a lease purchase company, buddy? A lease purchase? You ought to know me better than that. 30% of it. Unless this is owner operators, 30% of the gross. That's okay, all right. I'm not going to judge too hard, okay, because TMC does the same thing. They do percentage pay. All right, let me calm down. Okay, apply now in 2 minutes. 18 to 12,000 monthly gross. Let me flip the calculator up real quick here. Let's say it's 12,000 divided by 4 weeks in a month. $3,000 a week. Unlikely. Very unlikely. Let's see, about 8,000 divided by 4. That one's super easy math. That's $2,000 a week. That's possible, especially if you've been at it for a while and it has some experience. But that's pretty tough. That's about my top that I've ever made. Was about $2,000 per week when I was over the road. So let's see what they got going on here. Gross pay is 30%, 2,500 miles per week. Flatbed loads right now are anywhere between $3.50 and $4 a mile, depending on what it is. So let's do some math on that. 30% of that. Let's bring this calculator back up. 2,500 miles. Well, we don't need miles because we're doing gross. So if a typical load, okay, so if you could do 2,500 miles per week and the load is paying, let's go $3.50 per mile, that's $8,750. If you're getting 30% of that, we'll multiply that by 30%, and that's $2,625 for the week pre-tax. Multiply that by 80%, and that's what you would see after taxes. So they're not terribly far off at the $8,000 a month. $2,100, 2,500 miles a week should be possible. All right, so let me chill out on judging them too hard here. 24/7 support, trusted by truck drivers, a few reviews here. Obviously, they're not going to put the worst reviews on their website, so keep that in mind. Like you guys see in the deep dives, I enjoy going over to the Indeed reviews to check that stuff out. Late model equipments, Peterbilt's, Kenworth's, Volvos, consistent miles. Those miles are totally doable, especially if you got some experience. Requirements here, we're looking at a Class A CDL, clean driving record, pass a DOT physical, drug screen, a minimum of 6 months over-the-road experience. Also, ability to stay out for 3 to 4 weeks. So you're looking at being on the road for a month at a time just to get some home time. Legally authorized to work in the United States. So they want 6 months of over-the-road experience. They're wanting you to continue to be an over-the-road truck driver. That being said, that makes this mileage of 2,500 to 3,000 miles much more doable if you're living out on the road effectively. I'm not seeing a whole lot for home time yet. Let's keep scrolling and see what they got to say. All their different trucks that they offer, they are pretty. They are pretty trucks. I like that color, that green. Happy drivers, driver interview. You guys are more than welcome to check out this stuff. Family owned and operated company based out of Illinois, 300 plus power units. That's a relatively big company. And direct access to ownership. Okay, so these words right here have got me believing that this is more of a lease purchase situation. I'm not super thrilled with that. Look into that more if you're curious about this company. Obviously, I don't recommend doing lease purchase ever. It's the most expensive way to own a truck if you ever get to owning it. Never owe money to the people who control how much money you make. It's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I have a couple of videos on my channel if you want to check out my full opinion on a lease purchase. But that's that. Okay.
Anybody can open a trucking company. Anybody can open a trucking company. $500, a laptop, you're in business. What makes a company special is the team.
All right. I don't know why that was on or so loud. I apologize about that. Founded, blah, 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 blah. Are we finding anything about lease purchase here? What is it? Jet engines, that's freaking cool. Aerospace, steel coils, heavy duty construction flatbed. It said also that they have reefer units, it looks like. That one was 28% of the load, so a little bit less than 2,000 for, well, it's going to be a lot less than 2,000 because reefer doesn't pay nearly as much as what flatbed does on the load board side. I mean, their website is very pretty. Okay, so they started in 2016. This is a very new company. I mean, that's 10 years old. Relatively new company. Not to say it's a bad company, but to jump in 10 years from one truck or however many trucks they started with to 18 going to 50, then they launched this. I mean, they're growing at a very, very fast rate. I'd be hesitant a little bit by that just because you want somebody that's got some history. Okay, my biggest two biggest red flags on this company is number one, find out if it's lease purchase. Don't do that crap. Number two, it's a relatively new company. So within 10 years, you'd think people would be able to figure out how to operate a company successfully. Obviously, they've grown their company from nothing to 300 plus power units. They're doing good. Family owned premium trucks. I still don't see anything whether it's lease purchase or not. But overall, I mean, the money's right. Local family owned business. That's good. 300 trucks. That's a little bit more than what the line is. Normally about 100 trucks, you'd actually be able to have somebody answer the phone. Hey, so-and-so, how you doing? Hey, Bagel Ammo. Hey, Brian, how you doing? What's going on today? Anything more than that, generally, okay, what's your truck number? Okay, what's your truck number? You lose a lot of that family feel, anything over 100 trucks, in my experience. So if you're looking for that, not so much. Also, big red flag, depending on where you're wanting to go. You need 6 months of experience, number one. And number two, you will need to be out on the road for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. That's a lot of time out on the road. That's totally over the road, totally doable. People do it all the time. It's nothing uncommon. But after 6 months, it depends on what you want to do with your career. Do you want to be home more? Do you want to be out on the road still? Are you still trying to be a road warrior? So keep those things in mind if you're looking into CB Freight out of Illinois. But overall, would I go to work for them? Probably not, just because of the heavy over-the-road time when there's a lot of flatbed companies that'll get you home every weekend. 30% of the gross seems pretty reasonable, fair, pretty standard across most of the industry. A little bit higher. It's a little bit higher than what TMC does starting out, but they also require 6 months of experience. So there you go. Hope that helps with that one. I appreciate you too, Brian Woodley. You're the man. I see you over on the Discord server all the time. Welcome in, folks who haven't been in here the whole time. We're doing company shallow dives. So we're taking a look at their website, seeing what they're offering, seeing if it would be a good idea to work for them, exposing some of the things that maybe you haven't seen, and going from there. Let's see what else we got for the comments. Just joining. If you haven't had the request to do so yet, do Heartland. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm spacing. Heartland is a part of another company. Let me look it up here before I start saying stupid stuff. Heartland, they were purchased by, I want to say CFI, but I'm not positive. Heartland Express. Okay, sorry, I'm being super quiet here. I know they were just purchased by a company. CFI. Okay. Heartland shakes up operations with CFI rebrand. Heartland announced it will integrate and rebrand the domestic operations of Contract Freighters Inc., or CFI, which it acquired in 2022. CFI, we have actually covered on another Shallow Dive Live. If you look on my channel under the live category, you'll see all of those. So I want to try to give some light to other companies that we haven't talked about yet. So I apologize for that, but we're going to keep it moving and try to spread it out a little bit here. Hey, Trucker219, I'm turning 21 from Texas. I was wondering which company you would recommend as a good starter. Look, I've done a deep dive on over 25 companies. I've ranked these companies in a few different ways. I have a hard time telling you where to go because it's very much so a personal decision. It's something of, hey, I want more home time. Hey, I want to make a bunch more money. Hey, I want a really quick CDL experience, get in, get out, not have a big contract. It all depends on what you're wanting to do for your career. Out of Texas, there's a lot of stuff running through or around Texas. Any of the companies that I mentioned are Southeast Regional. McElroy's one of them that we were just talking about recently. There's a bunch of them that are operating from Texas or go to, through, or around Texas. So you shouldn't have any issue getting on with just about anybody, honestly. So my favorites, if I haven't made it pretty clear already, TMC is one of my favorites so far. JB Hunt seems to be okay. I know they've come under controversy from another YouTube channel that kind of blasted them a little bit, but they seem to be okay. Yeah, just check out any of my ranking videos. That'll tell you where I rank them based on my opinion, but again, it's very much so a personal decision. Can I do Hogan or Keller? I will write these down. Hogan or Keller. Heartland, Millis Transfer, Smith Transport, and CFI are all the same company. Got it. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that clarification there. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's where we're at on that. All right, so we shall move it right along. They are all owned by Heartland and Millis, and Smith and their companies. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's not uncommon for one company to jump from one company to another or to be acquired. Honestly, I think it's like 20,000 trucking companies go under every single year. So most of these are owner-operators, 1 to 2 truck operators, but some big things, big companies go down too. Yellow Roadway is one that's gone down recently that most people have heard of. A lot of trucking companies, unfortunately, they don't last. Some market shifts or poor management of the companies, but then you got people that have been around for a very, very long time. Talking Pitt, Ohio is one that's been around for a very long time. Swift has been around for a long time. All these big companies that you see that have outlasted other companies, they're doing something right. Hate them or love them, that's where it's at. Asking, is Safeway Carrier LLC affiliated with the Safeway food stores? I don't know. Let's ask Google. Is Safeway Foods? We're going to be jumping here into Mahal out of Bakersfield, California here in just a second. If you're just joining us, request a company. If I can get to it, I will get to it. Trying to do a little shallow dive, see what's up with the company as best we can do without calling the recruiting department, because I do those in my deep dives. Safeway Food, a part of Safeway. Carriers. No, Safeway Food is a supermarket chain and is not a part of Safeway Convoy Carriers LLC. They are completely separate, unrelated companies that just happen to share a similar name. Well, there you go, Mr. Brian Woodley's wife. Hope that helps. Sorry. All right. Let's go ahead and dive in. Again, thank you guys for taking your time out of your Saturday evening where you could be doing a bunch of stuff like going out partying or whatever, and hanging out with me. This is super cool. I love doing these deep dives. And or not deep dives, the shallow dive lives here, the live streams, and we're just hanging out, just having a good time, just chilling, checking out some companies, as the truckers would call it, jawjacking, sharing stories over a dinner at the Country Pride, just hanging out. All right, what we're doing, Mahal, trucking, Bakersfield. Are we talking about the same place here? Because whoever requested this would be very disappointed to know that this is what comes up when we search Mahal Trucking out of Bakersfield, California. Permanently closed. Let's see, Mahal Brothers, Bakersfield, California. Let's see what their Facebook has to say. I'm gonna... Just want to make sure the live stream isn't showing any of my personal info. June 12th, 2025 was the last time they posted. Fort Worth, Texas. I'm not sure what's going on with these guys. The last post was almost over a year ago on their Facebook page. Google is saying that they are out of business, permanently closed. Let me see if I can do it without the Bakersfield. Maybe that'll help. Their Instagram. Something went wrong. The page couldn't load. Yeah, I'm going to guess the Mahal Trucking is out of business. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Unless we're talking about a different spot. But you said Bakersfield, California. Their Facebook isn't showing anything. Their Instagram isn't showing anything. Let's see the company snapshot here from the DOT. Says inactive per 47 CFR 390 19.19 B4 biennial update of MCS 150 data not completed. Out of service, carrier is under any type of okay, so that's just showing what it is. It says the status is active, showing that they have 50 power units out of Bakersfield, California. Their cargo type is general freight, household goods. You know, pretty standard stuff for a box truck, I would guess. Commodities and dry bulk. Refrigerated foods is a no. Beverages, no. Paper products, no. Meat, fresh produce, no. Inspections and crashes. U.S. inspections revolve 24 months, blah, blah, blah. They've had 143 inspections. 12 out of service. For the 12 for the vehicle, 5 for the driver. Out of service. Out of service percentage is 11 and 3, and the national average is a little bit higher than that, actually almost double that. They've had some crashes with injury and tow for a total of 5. It's saying on the DOT website that they are active, so I'm not sure what's going on with them. There's not really a whole lot of information here either. Permanently closed, yeah. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't think there's a whole lot that I can find. Maybe reviews. Obviously, you were seeing it, so that's why you asked. Okay. Mike Fusho. Sorry, buddy. I'm terrible with pronouncing names. You said I got it backwards. Heartland wasn't purchased by CFI. CFI purchased Heartland. Potato. I think they're all becoming the same company. So it's just who's going to have the name on the side of the truck. Yeah, I'm not showing a whole lot of information on them. We're going to go ahead and move on from them just because I don't want the whole live stream here to be, oh, they're done for. So based off of a Google search, they're permanently closed. Their Facebook and Instagram aren't showing anything. However, safer.fmcsa.dot.gov is saying that the DOT number is active. So I would give them a call if you have a number for them that's not coming up here. And see what they got to say. All right. Everybody doing all right? Welcome to the live stream. If you're just joining it, we're doing Shallow Dive Live, meaning that we're going to take a look at some companies in the trucking industry, some trucking companies, and see what we can find out on them just by searching around a little bit on the old interwebs and seeing what we can find out. If I have any experience with them personally, I'll share that. But other than that, request the company, and we will keep it moving along. We are fixing to move on to Titan Transfer. I'm looking to get into trucking, and I live around the Binghamton, New York area. Can you check out a company called National Carriers? National Carriers has been around for a long time. Let me put them on the list here. And I want to say I started to do a deep dive on them. There was something up with them. I don't remember what it was, why I backed out. Let me check my notes here. Because they were coming up here soon. National Carriers Inc. Yes, I definitely had them. They were in the no experience category. Something happened with them. What was the deal with that? Let me check something real quick, guys. I apologize. I know I have a terrible memory, but I know National Carriers was. Let me make sure you guys aren't hearing this. Well, tell you what, National Carriers, I had a snafu. That's what the issue was. I forgot to hit record when I did the recruiter phone call. So I haven't published that one just because I know that's a big draw for people is to hear something coming directly from the recruiter. But good news is I still have that recording. I'll tell you what, I will make this an unlisted video for the recording, going over what the recruiter said. I will put this up on the Trucker 219 YouTube channel, but as unlisted, meaning the only way that you can view it is if you have a link. This is unedited currently, so it's going to sound like trash because I stink at talking. So I'll get this edited up, put it on the YouTube channel, and I will put a link for that in the National Carriers area in Discord. So join the Discord server if you want to see that. I did do a recruiter phone call, but I forgot to press record. And I was kind of hesitant to call them back and ask the same stinking questions. Didn't we just talk to you from this same number? Yeah, you did. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I'm a truck driver or a YouTuber trying to, dig into your guys' company. So that's what I'll do for that, going over what the recruiter had said. And basically, you'll get, effectively what they said. You guys know I wouldn't lie to you guys about what they said on the call. Let's check out their website real quick, though. We'll do that here in a minute. I want to get to these other ones that had requested first. National carriers will be done. Martin does require some experience. I do plan on doing a deep dive on them, though. I actually almost went to work for them one time. I had them on the line talking to them, and an old company that I'd worked for called me and said, hey, come back to work for us. Don't go work for them, and I did that instead. So that's my experience with them. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and keep it moving here to Titan Transfer. Give me just a second to take a drink. I am working on pulling this stuff up. Titan Transfer. Sorry, that's super loud. Titan Transfer. Okay. All right, we're looking at Titan Transfer here. Welcome in if you haven't, if you're just getting in here doing these shallow dive lives today on the live stream. Let's see here. Flip over to the reaction side. Boo, 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 boo. CDL Regional Experienced Truck Driver Company earned $65,000 to $75,000 a year. Top drivers make $100,000. Is that possible? Yes. Let's see what else they have to say. Guaranteed weekly minimum. Okay, minimum pay guarantee, weekly deposits. Okay, you got to tell us what that is, though. Don't just say the stuff and not share. Transition pay with instant payout, $1,250 sign-on bonus. Again, guys, with these sign-on bonuses, if you are new to my channel at all, sign-on bonuses doesn't mean the first day you walk into the door, they hand you a check. These are passed out over, your first 6 months, your 1 year. Realistically, these should be called a retention bonus, not a sign-on bonus, because you don't get it as soon as you walk in the door. And that's just the way it goes. Weekend focused home time, every week, home positions available. Okay, so you'll have to be out on the road a minimum a week at a time. Trucks are governed at 70, awesome. It seems like 90% of the companies are 65, 68, when most of the interstates are at 70 miles an hour, 75 out west a little bit. There's some 80s even out west. Day one rider policy. So as long you can bring your spouse with you, Brian, Mrs. Woodley could come out with you. Pet friendly, no deposits, no restrictions. New equipment, 24 months average. Okay, so full benefits too, health, vacation, 401k. Experienced truck driver requirements, minimum 6 months of experience. Okay, what else are we seeing here? Company driver. Okay, so I just pulled up the same page, search for jobs. Who had requested this? Crossville, I believe. Is that you, Matt, that requested that? Company driver, trailer, city, Crossville. Crossville, Tennessee. Let's do a 100-mile radius. Okay, they got one out of Manchester, Tennessee. Company driver, dry van, view full details. Still the same sign-on bonus there. It's showing the same exact thing that the other one did. There's really nothing going on here on their website. All right, let's get crazy here just for a second and just clear search. Okay, it's already pulled up. Jacksonville, Florida. Let me guess. It's going to show the same exact stuff that the other one did. Yep, nothing different. I hate when companies do this. Like, give some information. Owner operators, view details. Only difference is the money's going to be way more. Yeah. 70 to 80% of the line haul revenue, dependent upon location. Discount fuel, maintenance shop tires. Most of this is pretty standard. If you are an owner operator, that's pretty standard stuff. The percentage, I'm not sure. I haven't talked to anybody personally to find out what the percentages are, but 80% seems like a lot of the revenue, which rightfully so. It's your truck, your money. All you really need to pay for is the office personnel to book your loads, and that's your dedicated dispatcher. Again, same stuff here. Weekly deposit, permanent licensing assistance, some referral bonus opportunities. Okay, so they do have some owner-operator positions. That might be something to look into. Let's see if we can find some reviews on these guys. Titan, Titan, transfer. Oh, 3.5 stars out of 84, so that's a little rough. The breakdown, though, looks to be about average. 83 reviews. First one here from July of this year. 1 star, horrible company to work for, horrible management. They don't care about their employees. Moving down here, February's bad company, 1 star. 4, good company, good pay. Workday was no problem. Hours and breaks and time off when needed was no issue. Great support from home office. Okay, so this is somebody that works from home. So they are not a truck driver. Caring management, consistent work environment. This job is great for the most part. Great home time, great management, and great communication. Okay, company's overall good. If I had one complaint, it would be that the pay isn't the best. But I guess if you're able to be home every weekend, that's the sacrifice to take. 5 star here out of Corbin, Kentucky. Overall, great place. I love working at Titan. Had an awesome driver manager. Okay, low pay, but make up for it with 27 to 3,000 miles a week. Whoa, that's a pretty sizable amount of miles there. Totally different environment than big trucking companies like U.S. Express. Okay, another one from, okay, this one's all the way back in June, but remind you, they only have 84 reviews. So it's a really small company, it looks like. Anything under 100 reviews, it's a small company. But it seems like there's drivers everywhere. Knoxville, Sykeston, Missouri. What was this other one? Corbin, Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's not too far from Tennessee. This one is a 1 star, though. Weird place. Before they bought out the company that I applied for, I was told it was a great company. All of the perks that were supposed to be there were no longer available. I was told on my way to orientation that the company I had applied for was bought out by them. Actually liked working here, but some of their ways of doing things were kind of weird to me. They don't believe anything you say. You're not given the opportunity to explain what, when, or how. Definitely better be on your P's and Q's. Okay, so it sounds like they're going to be up your butt about everything. Few 5 star reviews there all the way in 2025. 3.5 stars overall. It's a small company, it looks like. Not a whole lot going on their website. Trucker report. Home time is a 4 star. Equipment is a 3 star. Dispatchers and managers are a 3 star. Weekly average pay is $928. That's pretty low. A bunch of reviews over here. I'm not going to sit here and read reviews this whole time, but I would want to call them. I'm not going to give a determination on this one, just because I would want to talk to them. Hey guys, what are you guys offering for pay? What's your cents per mile? You know, they said their stuff on the website there of the weekly average, guaranteed weekly pay. Okay, what does that look like? What does $65,000 and $75,000 a year look like? Guaranteed minimum weekly pay. What does that look like? Sign-on bonus. When am I getting paid for that? Trucks are governed. That's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, give them a call. 6 months of experience required. At 6 months, It's hard to say because I'm just now starting to dive into companies that are requiring experience to say what a good pay is in that range. Things are completely different than when I was trucking, over the road at least, because I started making 50 cents a mile after about 6 months, and I was stoked about it. 45, 50 cents a mile is where I was at. And that was awesome. That was great. That was the best thing I'd ever seen because I was coming from another company that started out at 34 cents per mile. So it's hard for me to tell what a good bump up would be for that. I would guess in the range of 55, 56, or no, sorry, 55, 60 cents per mile is where I would anticipate something like this roughly paying. Somewhere between 50 and 60. If you're getting 50 and 60 cents per mile after 6 months of experience, that's a pretty sizable bump. The companies that I've done a deep dive on so far that do require experience are really, the experience required is 4 months. So there's really not that much of experience. You don't know diddly at 4 months of experience. So you're not going to get a huge pay jump at that milestone. But that 6 months should be bumping you up a little bit. 1 year of experience will get you there too. Honestly, guys, by the time you get to 3 months or 3 years of experience, nobody's going to turn you down. As long as you have a clean record, you don't have any tickets, accidents, things like that, you're going to be golden. You can go anywhere. So 3 years is the gold standard. 6 months is a good time to switch. 1 year is an even better time to wait and switch. And then, anything after that, you're going to start to see more opportunities opening up. So I would give these guys a call. Overall, I don't know. Based off of what I'm seeing, I don't know. I'd have to call them. There's no way that I'm going to make a determination on that. Recent grad of 2026, congratulations, E.K. Jackson. Welcome in, welcome in. So give Titan Transfer a call. Seems like a small company, family-oriented if it's a smaller company. That means they're going to be a little bit more flexible and understanding of family life. So give them a shout, see what they have to say. And then we're going to go ahead and move on. We got Hogan and Keller. Let's just go with Hogan for now. That's going to be up next. But first I'm going to get to some comments here. Hogan is coming up next. Got that marked down. Let me read through here real quick while I take a sip of Mama Sweet Tea. Yeah, national carriers, we're going to get to them after we get done with Hogan. I'm going to go ahead and skip Keller for now. Martin and Mesa Valley, let me write those down. Martin, not Mesa Valley, Mesilla Valley. That's funny. That company, the last over-the-road company that I was with purchased one of their trucks, and I got the sheer pleasure of warming up their logos and scraping them off of the truck. That truck never seen the light of day, though. We got some work done on it and ended up messing up even more. So that one didn't take off, but I know exactly what company you're talking about. Pretty trucks. I definitely like their style. Mike says, I love what you're doing, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Trying to pass some information down to the next generation, help you guys out. A lot of the stuff that is available to you guys nowadays, the internet, not that the internet wasn't there 10 years ago, but it's nowhere near as in depth, not as many reviews, things like that. I didn't have that growing up and starting into the trucking industry. So I had the word of mouth from everybody around me at the truck driving school. I know my dad was a Class B truck driver, so I know you can make money doing it and support a family off of that. And that's all the knowledge that I had going into this. So, yeah, that's where we're at on that. Afternoon Trucker 219. Question, is there any hope for drivers who made mistakes as far as DUI goes? 2 years ago, to be exact. Clearinghouse is green. MVR, not the best, though. With the MVR, it takes time for stuff to get off your license. would be lying to you guys if I had a perfect record. I've got tickets, I've got a few accidents, fender benders for the most part, other things that, I wasn't at fault for, but it still gets hit on your MVR, especially if there's injuries or things like that. MVR and PSP reports. So things like that happen. There is hope for that. I've never had to deal with a DUI situation, though, and especially after this clearinghouse thing has done what it's done, it's something completely different that I haven't had to deal with. I would hope so. Like, they got to be understanding that people make mistakes. Things happen. But again, when I started in the trucking industry, guys, I had a misdemeanor on my record. It was a class A misdemeanor or D misdemeanor. I don't even remember. It's been so long. But it was the highest level of misdemeanor. And I had some trouble getting started in the industry. I wanted to go to work for TMC and a couple other companies that went to start at my school, and I couldn't get in because I had a little bit of a checkered past. And the company that was able to take me on board, that deep dive is coming out next. It's PTL. They no longer offer training, but they gave me an opportunity, and the more time you have with companies, the more experience you build up and keeping your record clean, the better it looks on you. People don't look at old stuff as hard as what they do something that just happened a year ago. 2 years ago, you probably got a year left. I would say at least a year left, 3 to 5 years, that kind of thing starts to dwindle down on your record. So I don't want to lie to you and tell you that everything's going to be golden. But at that 2 year mark, it's going to be tough. Is it possible? I totally believe that it's possible. Check out companies like Western Express. I know that they are a terrible company. One of the worst that I've ever done a review on. That being said, they do give second chances. They're known as a second chance company. You're not going to make money, but you will get experience. So give them a shout out. That's all I got for you, bud. You made a mistake. I hope it doesn't haunt you for the rest of your life, and I hope you're able to move on from that and become an awesome truck driver. Lots of felons out there, lots of guys with misdemeanors and felonies and things like that have had a checkered past. Trucking has always been that place where people can get past those things in their life and move on to something better. Just keep your nose clean, do the best you can. Call everybody, fill out applications everywhere. Constantly be calling. Also, another note, a DUI, I would definitely report that one, but other things, guys, if it's something simple like a speeding ticket or a seatbelt violation or this or that, don't say nothing. Keep it to yourself. If they do a good background check, they'll find it, and then they'll call you and question you about it. Or you're going to call them every week after you fill out an application. Hey, what's going on with my application? Hey, what's going on with my application? And eventually you'll wear them down, and they'll tell you what's going on. Hey, we seen that you had a speeding ticket on your license that you didn't report. Oh, crap, that was 2 years ago, man. I completely forgot about that. I appreciate you guys pointing that out. You going to give me an opportunity to explain it? Are you guys just shutting the application down? Yeah, go ahead and explain it. Well, my wife was pregnant, and I was rushing her to the hospital. Cop got behind me, followed me all the way to the hospital, and wrote me a ticket there, but made sure we got to the hospital safe. Nobody needs to know the real story. Lie your butts off. As long as you're changing your ways and not being a speed demon anymore, so be it. Like, nobody cares. Yeah, keep it to yourself until they ask about it. And that's my perspective on that. I know honesty is the best policy, but upfrontness doesn't necessarily need to happen. If they question you about it, be honest. Tell them, hey, this is what happened. Or make up a fun, creative story of why you were speeding. There's a bee in the car. Pull out Tommy Boy days, if you guys are Chris Farley fans at all. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next company. Best of luck to you, EK Jackson. Hopefully you're able to move along with that. All right, we got Hogan on deck. Let's go ahead and start looking for them. Everybody doing all right? If you are coming from the Discord server, Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys being some of my biggest supporters. Number one, it's a huge thing to make a jump from a YouTube channel onto anything else. I had my merch shop up forever. I had one sale over probably about 7 to 8 months of having that up. So I understand it's a big thing to make a leap from one website to another, and I appreciate you guys doing that. It really means the world. It's not even a joke. I'm not even flippant. You guys are the best. I love you guys. I hope you guys are doing fantastic in your careers, and will have a very long career in the future. Hogan Transport. Black Skull, I seen your comment there. Give me just a second and I will read that out. Okay. Yeah, Hogan's a lot. I see them a lot in distribution centers, food distribution centers and things like that. Doing little local kind of stuff for the most part. Some over-the-road guys. Hey, man, I've been in the Discord talking about TMC. Your deep dive on them was ultimately my deciding factor to go with them. You really helped me out a lot. Yeah, man, how's that going for you? I have your picture of your truck here. I did that towards the beginning of the stream, shouted that out. But this is Mr. Black Skull's truck. Nice, pretty TMC truck. They all kind of look the same, but nevertheless, I don't know, the lighting's tough on that, but I will get that up on the Cap Climb Club board. Went through those at the beginning of the stream, so restart that if you want to see your truck and me talking about it a little bit. But I appreciate you joining the Discord server. If you haven't already, join the Discord server. Lots of information going into the Discord server from drivers that are living it, that are there every day, going to these different companies, giving firsthand experience. Hey, this is what my day was like. Hey, I got my CDL today. Hey, I've done this. Hey, this is the company I'm going to work for. This is what they've said. So lots of good information in there. And I'm trying to build a community in there, and we have. It's not trying to. It's successful. Of folks just wanting to help each other out. Just good-hearted people that just care about one another. And if people are being ugly, I have no hesitation to kick them out. Luckily, I've only had to kick one person before, up until this time. One person has gotten kicked out of the Discord server. So go in there with respect other people's positions on different things. We can all be kind to one another. All right, see all positions. We're moving on to Hogan. Again, big shout out to the Discord members. You guys are the bomb. Dedicated Hogan, apply now. Sorry, let me flip here. Okay, driving opportunities, job type, good Lord, city, state, dedicated, team drivers, apply now, driver trainee. Ooh, whether you want to drive trucks locally or regionally, Hogan has a job for you. Hogan partners with reputable CDL truck driver training schools. Okay, so they don't do CDL training themselves. We can help you choose the school that's right for you. And Hogan, our truck drivers, driver jobs give recent Class A grads the experience and the miles you need. Okay, so they will hire new drivers. It looks like that. Driver trainer programs, veterans. It's not listed on. Okay, eligible veterans can earn up to $1,400 per month, paid directly to you by the Veterans Administration for up to 12 months. These tax-free benefits are in addition to your Hogan earnings. Eligible is determined by the VA and depends on your years of service. Okay, so cool. They're willing to help out veterans. All CDL holders must be in the clearinghouse, which is everybody. Every company's going to require clearinghouse now. That's just what's happening. Unfortunately, a lot of bad apples have ruined it for people that just want to change their lives. You got dummies doing U-turns in the middle of Florida, screwing it up for everybody else. Looks like they're doing some pods. Who had requested Hogan? Do you want to give me a zip code or something, and I'll try to tailor this a little bit to you? Let me look here. GP Transco, somebody, David Mann requested that. I've done that in another deep dive. or not another deep dive, another shallow dive live. So check through those. I try to write in the comments what companies that I've done, or in the description of the video, what companies I've done in that one. Somebody had requested Hogan. I'm not. Could you do Hogan? Munchman1225. If you want to give me like a zip code or a city or something like that, I'd be happy to tailor this a little bit to you. Class A and a recent grad. Let's see what there is off of that. Yeah, it's not giving me anything here. Let's just do Tennessee. Now let's do Atlanta. I know they have a terminal down there because I used to sneak in there and park overnight when I couldn't find parking in Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, parking in Atlanta is terrible. You only got that Petro basically, and that's about it. Everything else you gotta pay for. An invalid city and state. What are you talking about? Let's see here. Over 100 zip codes. 30303. Nice and easy. All right, so I'm in Atlanta here. Home weekly, home every other day, home every other day, every other day, every other day. Nothing from Atlanta for recent graduates, it looks like. But let's check out this and see what they got to say. All right, so that's their location. That is not the one I went to. The one I went to was off of the bypass. Maybe they just had a lot of their trucks at that site. I don't remember if it was a Hogan location or not. Okay, apply now. Benefits. Regional CDL truck drivers, home weekly, earn $95,000 to $100,000 annually. Average weekly pay of $1,800 to $1,900 a week. $1.11 per mile and $1.13 per mile based on experience. Mileage pay increases every 6 months until maxed out. Okay, minimum weekly pay guarantee. What is that? Question mark, question mark. Alta unlimited referral bonus of up to $3,000 per referral. Safe stop incentive program. Earn an extra $700 to $1,000 quarterly. Rider and pet policy. Vacation and holiday pay. Medical, dental, vision, life insurance. They have trucks, paid orientation, home weekly, dedicated, blah, 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 blah. Minimum of 4 months recent experience. See where the road can take you. Okay, so 6 months of experience, not bad. I would get this in writing. I would 100% get that in writing. I've never seen more than, 75 cents per mile. Granted, I've been over the road for a couple of years now, but that's some really high pay. That being said, it is home weekly, so the amount of miles that you're going to get, let's do some math on this. $1.11 per mile, and they're saying 18 to 19 roughly a week. So let's take this and reverse engineer this here by taking $1,900 and dividing that by $1.11. That's so doable. Okay, so what we did here is we took the pay, divided it by the cents per mile or dollar per mile to give us how many miles you would have to run in a week in order to achieve that number. So at 1,900 miles a week divided by $1.11 per mile, you would need to drive 1,711 miles per week. Totally doable. Totally doable, especially if you are running regional and all that. So let's do this lower number, 1,830 here, and then also divide that one by the $1.11. And that's even less. You have to run 1,600 miles a week to be able to get that. That's totally doable. Their numbers are lining up at least according to this. Now we take that number 19, we'll do 1830. So pull that back up here. 1830 multiplied by, let's do 45 weeks for the year. So that's assuming that you're going to take several weeks off with weekends and things like that, holiday pay. 82,350. Not quite what they're saying here, but again, I'm only doing 45 weeks out of the year. If you're home weekly, you should be able to do better, a little bit more than that. Dude, this looks like a great company. I mean, just off of the money. Just off of the money. Let's see if we can find some reviews on this place. And if they're taking on CDL, new recent graduates, that would be crazy. Reviews. Let's do Indeed. Okay, hang on. All right, so this isn't all of their locations, I don't think. But they do have some out here in the West Coast. I know you guys love your West Coast. I get comments all the time. Do West Coast, do California, do California. They don't like truckers out there, so sorry. DOT is one, and then we did one, Pride. Pride Transport is another one that'll do some work out there. But it looks like they're kind of spread out all over the place, mostly East Coast. Some of these are not Hogan, but a couple in Florida. There you go, Florida. Whoever was asking about Florida. I know somebody was asking about Texas, too. There's several there in Texas. Okay, let's check out Indeed. Okay, we have a 3-star out of 708 reviews, and the ones are outpacing everything else, which is weird and strange, but I ran into that for the first time with PTL on that deep dive, which will be coming out the next video I release. We got the reviews sorted to newest, just like we do in the deep dives. And we're looking at a 5-star from a truck driver. They take safety extremely seriously, yet they also push their drivers a bit. If you wish to keep your job, be vigilant about your preventables, as even something like clipping your mirror on a CAT scale is considered a preventable. Okay, so they're super strict. You better be a darn good driver if you're going to go work over there. Accidents do happen, and they happen all the time, but pros on that one said it was good while it lasted, and cons was it was over too soon. Overworked, underpaid management doesn't listen from a fleet manager out of Yorktown, Indiana. Driver, small pay. That's weird. This one is from June 30th of 2026. Not good pay at all. You get 43 cents a mile starting out of school. Pretty bad if you ask me. Would just use to build up resume for a better job later on. Okay. 43 cents per mile isn't matching up with what that is. Is Hogan a lease purchase? Are they doing lease purchase? Full service lease, fleet maintenance, service locations, rental. Okay, so they do lease. I think they're kind of like a Penske in that regard, like rentals and things like that. Careers, drivers. Did that one say a company driver? I think this was the one that we had clicked on here. It just says van driver. It doesn't specify whether it's a company driver or not. But again, their website is showing $1.13, and their Indeed review is not showing $1.13. It's showing 43 cents a mile. Red flags, red flags. Typically, you can expect to be out a minimum of 3 weeks. Any more weeks is an additional day off accrued. Pay rate is $385 a day utility. Okay, so they must be doing a flat rate of guaranteed pay for a daily rate at $385 a day. That's pretty good. Okay, the only job that I had was for a daily rate, I was getting paid $250 a day. What is going on with my mouse here? It's not lining up. Okay, but $385 a day, that's pretty good. Let's see if we can see anything else about pay. That was super concerning. Again, I don't know if that means it was just for starting from fresh out of school that it was that low, that it could go up from there. Decent opportunity, good for growth and experience, not long term. They are cheap when it comes to raises and promotions. You're often overlooked for promotions in favor of older coworkers, not drivers. So that makes me believe that is an office person. It says anonymous here. Very disappointing experience. The company has potential, but management and the workplace culture needs a serious change. This one was from May of 2026. Management could be better. Better organization. Big issues with management over here, it seems. Save yourself the headache. A rental manager, a regional truck driver. Great place to get experience out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's see if we can click here on this salaries tab here. Everybody doing all right? Truck driver salaries, $1,800 per week. Entry level truck driver, $73,000 a year. That's about where we were at. Local is $22 an hour. Yard hustler, $23 an hour. Not fantastic, but okay. Yeah, I'm finding it really hard to believe that this $1.13 a mile would be accurate. Mileage pay increases every 6 months until maxed out. This may be the maxed out number because it does say based on experience, but they provide a low number and a high number, and that should be the experience range from no experience to whatever the maximum experience is. So, in my opinion, I think this is a little bit deceptive. I'm not sure what else to think about that. All these other positions are showing about the same. Home every other day, $1,000 to $1,500 a week. This is another one where you'd have to make a phone call and talk to them about that. $1,000 to $1,500 a week, $1,000 weekly minimum. Again, this one's out of Kennesaw, Georgia. I know not everybody is down here in the South by me, but give them a call. I mean, obviously we've seen their locations. They were all over the place. Let's clear search history here. Come on, baby. Refresh. So, if they're being honest with that dollar or whatever a mile, great. If not, that's problematic that they're being dishonest like that, and I hate that. But anyway, we looked at some reviews for Hogan. If they're being honest, it seems okay. Super heavy safety companies like that drive me nuts. Like, you got to understand things happen from time to time. You might cut it a little tight and clip a mirror. It's not the end of the world. A mirror cost $100. Deal with it. That's crazy. Yeah, so Hogan, I would give them a call and see what they have to say. It looks like they have a lot of opportunities from local to regional. Some with some weekly pay minimums. They don't have a rider policy. They don't have a pet policy. All that stuff is not allowed. Lots of locations over here on the East Coast, a couple out west. Give them a call. I wouldn't apply right away. I would 100% be calling a recruiter and getting some answers to some questions. And get some things in writing. Get an official job offer. Hey, I'm going to make this amount of money per mile, this many miles per week. And get that in an official job offer. This way you're not getting screwed. All right, let me take a look at some comments here. I hope everybody is doing awesome tonight. It is 6:20. We've been at it for about an hour here. Looks like the same folks are here since the beginning. 15 viewers. You guys are awesome. The first time I ever did a live stream, I had 3 people in there. One of them was me, and one of them was my girlfriend. So this is awesome. I love you guys. Thanks for taking some time and hanging out with me tonight. Your beard is epic. We truly value your feedback and unbiased opinion on these companies. Really appreciate your hard work and dedication to help everyone find the best places to work. Hey, I appreciate that so much. I'm actually contemplating cutting this beard off a little bit. I've been thinking about it. I know it's taken me so long to grow it out. I wouldn't ever shave it completely, just because I have a double chin, and girls get makeup and guys get beards. So this is what I'll deal with. So I'm contemplating it. We'll see what happens. But thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. It looks like that $1.11 is specifically out of the Atlanta, Tennessee terminal. Tennessee terminal pays 78 cents per mile. I mean, still, buddy, 78 cents per mile is fantastic. I don't know who would be complaining about that. That's a lot of freaking money. It's still mind-boggling to me, starting out with the first company at 34 cents per mile. And to be honest, I started out teaming with somebody, so that 34 cents per mile was split between 2 drivers. So it really wasn't even that. I remember some $50 paychecks. So getting that amount of money on your paycheck, 78 cents per mile, let's say on a bad week. Let's go ahead and pull up the calculator here. On a bad week here, we're looking at, let's say, 1,500 miles a week. For reference, if you work 5 days a week, that means you got to drive a whopping 300 miles a week. Ooh, that's nothing. 300 miles is absolutely nothing as a truck driver. But anyway, 1,500 miles a week multiplied by 78 cents a mile, you said? Yes, sir. 78 cents per mile. $1,170 on your week pre-tax. Multiply that by 80%. You're walking away with $938 on your paycheck after taxes to barely work at all. 300 miles is roughly 5 hours of driving. Let's see, 300 miles divided by roughly 60 miles an hour, 5 hours of driving. Oh, still got it. 2 years later, haven't been over the road, still remember the calculations. All right, so that's roughly 5 hours of driving. You should be able to drive at least 10 hours a day. I mean, the clocks go up to 11. So if you did 10 hours a day, multiply that by, what did I just say here? 60 miles an hour. That's 600 miles a day. So you're doing half of the work that you could be doing. Multiply that by 5 days a week. Realistically, 3,000 miles shouldn't be that difficult to hit if you're driving for 10 hours a day. 3,000 miles, multiply that by 78 cents per mile. You're looking at $2,340 on your check before taxes. Now multiply that by 80%. You could be taking home $1,872 per week. Per week. That's fantastic. All right. Trim it. Trim it, you think, Brian? Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll open up a GoFundMe or something and have that balance go up and maybe donate that and let somebody pay for somebody to go to school or something. I think that'd be a cool thing. If I get up to like $1 million or something, I'll shave my beard all the way off and then donate it back to you guys. I've thought about it. I've thought about doing that. Anyway, anywho, all right, what other company we got going on here? National carriers. Somebody had asked for that. Like I said, I had done the recruiter phone call, but I forgot to hit record, and I didn't feel comfortable calling them back again, so I kind of put that to the wayside. And since I've moved out of companies that don't require, I'm done with companies that don't require an experience, all right, breathe, Zach, breathe. Since I'm done with companies that don't require any experience and moved on to companies that do require experience, I am going to probably not get to them unless I start this whole process over all the way back at the beginning in some time when things have changed. But like I said, if you're curious about national carriers starting out, what I will do, we're going to look onto their website and some reviews right now, and then I will get that video edited up and put it out within the next week, and I will open up a new tab underneath the Discord server. Again, guys, if you haven't joined the Discord server, let me show you guys what is going on over there. All right, so I know my big head's in the way here. But effectively, we got people chatting all day, every day, talking about their careers, talking about their lives. I think 90% of you guys are in there. On the sides here, we have all the different companies I've done a deep dive on and some that I haven't even done yet. Jordan Carriers was a recent one. I have a couple that I need to add in here. People are talking about their companies that they have gone to start with, what all's going on with that. So if you guys haven't checked out the Discord server, check it out. I will add another one of these shortly after this live stream for national carriers. And as soon as I get done with that deep dive, or not that deep dive, editing up the review of the phone call, I will make a video on YouTube unlisted, meaning the only people that will see it is those that have a link. And I'll put the link into the Discord server. So if you're interested in that. But for right now, let's go ahead and check out their website. The Elite Fleet. The Elite Fleet, they say. All right, company drivers. $3,000 sign-on bonus for experienced drivers. Again, sign-on bonuses are paid out normally over the first year or two. In increments, drivers earn between $72,000 and $88,000 per year. Annual pay based on averages of 2,500 to 2,800 miles per week and tenure. Longevity pay. We reward drivers who stay here. Our 5-year drivers can earn $93,000 plus a year. Automatic detention pay. No macros, no waiting. That is a big deal if that is honest. Chasing down detention pay is such a pain in the butt. Have a CDL but need training. Ask about our excellent student program. First year pay is $65,000. Company sponsored 401k plan, steady freight, paid vacation holidays, trucks, trailers, workplace, all the kind of same stuff with everybody. Bring your loved one and pets and make those miles pass faster. Some conditions apply. Payout completed 38 weeks from date of hire. Okay, so there's going to be a fee to have them on board, and that's to cover additional insurance or any damages that could occur from a pet, I'm guessing. So you'll probably pay a certain amount of money per week towards that policy. So that's kind of what those mean. Now, seeking qualified over-the-road driver trainers, excellent pay. Okay, their requirements, minimum 21 years old, minimum experience level is 6 months of experience. DWI convictions. This one is for you, E.K. Jackson. Must be 5 years ago. You said you were at 2 years. That's where you're at for that, bud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the bad news. I apologize for that. Michael Cabanas. Michael Cabanas just become a member on the YouTube channel. What is up, buddy? Thank you so much for that added support. $2 a month, guys. It gets you special badges like next to this Michael's name. You'll see a badge. That means that they are a Convoy crew member, part of the Trucker 219 membership. And you get extra emojis, too, that you can use. I've got like 4 of them in there. One's like the Road Rager. things like that, and a shout out in a upcoming video. And I will take care of that shout out here, Michael, in an upcoming video. I'll give you two, one here in this one, and then an actual video. I want to be a man of my word and honor what the perks are of being a member on the channel, but thank you for that added support. Appreciate you very much. All right. Preventable accidents, only 3 in the last 3 years. Moving violations, only 3 in the last 3 years. Super lenient on these moving violations and preventable accidents. That's a pretty sweet deal. If you can have up to 3 of these things and they'll still hire you, not a bad gig at all. Must be 5 years ago, though, for the DWI, and that one, like I said, was for E.K. Jackson. That's something that you're going to have to overcome one way or another. I think you can do it. I don't think it's going to be with this company, though. All right, national carriers, the elite fleet. What else have we got over here on them? That's about what they were saying that they are offering. I mean, the pay seems, it seems a little bit high. And I hate when companies do, like, the yearly. It's so hard to say what the year is. Like, what's the home time? When are we getting home? I don't see any of that information over here on their website. Careers, owner-operators, looks like they have an option for that. Lease program, stay away. Don't do that. I don't care what they're offering you. Leasing is the most, even if they are honorable in their lease, leasing is the most expensive way to own a truck. You're just paying for it long-term versus up in the short term. Save your money. Put enough. My only advice to anybody looking to become an owner-operator, set your money aside in the first couple of years of trucking. Save, save, save like crazy. Get enough money to pay cash or close to paying cash for a truck. Also have enough money in the bank to cover some of the biggest repairs, engine, transmission, things like that. And you also need enough to cover about 4 months worth of expenses because trucking is weird and they don't pay out for the loads you complete to up to 3 months, 3 to 4 months. So, so you'll need to have money to cover fuel and things like that while you are working. So you need to have some money in the bank to cover that. There are what is known as factoring companies, but factoring companies take 3% of the money that they give you or that they receive from the customer. So effectively, what they will do is pay you immediately. They'll take their 3% for fronting that cost. They'll chase down the money for you and get that money, but they're taking their money to do that. So it's an option to do that on that front. But as far as maintenance and keeping up with your expenses, that doesn't exist unless you have that money stashed away in the bank. So save up enough money to... And the reason why I say this is not because I don't want you guys to be owner-operators if that's something that you want to do. The reason that I say this is because I have a very close friend of mine who was adamant about purchasing a truck, getting started in the trucking industry, or not getting started, but becoming an owner-operator. He paid for a truck, and he didn't even do a lease purchase. He's buying a truck straight from the bank, and he is still paying on that 5 years later, still paying towards it because he overpaid during COVID. So paid way too much for a truck, consistent breakdowns. This man hardly ever goes home. I'm not kidding you. Maybe once a year he sees his front door. Outside of that, he's out on the road. He has no other choice but to keep up with it, keep up with fuel cost, all that stuff. But he did everything off of debt, and debt is the quickest way to lose out in this industry. So I'm encouraging you guys to do it. You guys go about it however you feel is best for you and your family. But I hate to see drivers lose. There's a way to make it in this industry, and debt is not the way, especially when you're in a depreciating asset. You're constantly burning through fuel. Maintenance repairs come out of nowhere. Debt is not your friend in this industry. Pay cash as much as you possibly can for everything. So that's my advice to anybody looking to become an owner-operator. Stay away from lease purchase. Also, a little note with lease purchase, we're going to carry on with this national carriers here in just a second, looking at their reviews. regarding lease purchase, there is a big difference between leasing a truck onto a company and leasing a truck from a company. Leasing a truck onto a company, you own the truck, you might not own the trailer, but you're letting letting the company use your truck and your labor to run their stuff. You'll get their DOT number on the side of the truck. You'll likely use their trailers, oftentimes their maintenance programs, things like that. Their DOT, MC, license, and tags, and things like that. All of that belongs to the company. All you're doing is leasing your truck and labor onto that company. That being said, there's a huge difference of that, and I'm going to be paying this company money month after month after month in hopes of one day owning this truck or paying off this lease or, whatever, and the company controls how much money you make. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to owe money to somebody who controls how much money you make and can decide when you go negative in that lease, when you're delinquent on payments, when they need to come and steal that truck right back from you, even though you've been paying on it as much as you possibly can. You're going to get screwed, okay? And I don't want to see that happen. You'll see people on here specifically from Prime. The Prime guys are animals when it comes to this stuff and are consistent, and they'll get on to you about it. Oh, I make this much money. Okay, that's great. It's not worth the risk, guys. If you want to do it, again, I'm not your boss. I'm not your mama. You do what you want to do, but that's my advice. You guys are over here on my channel listening to my live stream because you guys think I have something smart to say, and that's about the smartest thing I could tell you. Okay, national carriers. How's that soapbox for you guys? I hate lease purchase. I hate when drivers get screwed. Anyway, national carriers, 3.3 stars out of 160 reviews. Again, mostly 5s, a little dip, 4.32. 1 peaks up a little bit, but not enough to bypass the 5s. We're looking at the newest. Great place to work out of Irving, Texas. This is from an over-the-road driver. Currently a lease operator, lease liaison. I was talking about this whole thing with lease right here on my screen. All right, we're skipping that review. Company, great company. 5-star review, a truck driver out of Irving, Texas. Wake up at shipper or receiver, do a pre-trip inspection, and back into the dock and have someone load or unload. Secure the load for transport, check call to dispatch, and then check route. Okay, so he's telling about his day. Okay, 5-star, great company. 1 star from April 2026, horrible, from Anonymous. Absolutely unorganized again. Absolutely, I honestly don't have much to say, but being extremely unorganized. All right, they're unorganized, got it. 2-star review from Irving, Texas. Whoever was asking about Texas, this company's there. I see most of these are from Irving, Texas. Starter company, a 2-star review. To be honest, this might be a good opportunity for starters, but for someone with an experience, may not be an appropriate place. They don't pay much, and I constantly had a problem with my pay calculation. You can call payroll, however, you are lucky if they answer you. I had many miles, but the paycheck was still small. The staff are nice, though. I think they are a starter company. It's a good place to start. Nice trucks, good communication, no inside camera. Interesting. Cons are low miles, low pay, little or no layovers, sometimes long waiting. Okay, I don't know why little or no layover would be a bad thing, but okay. 4-star from December of last year. Great work environment. Driver operator out of Irving, Texas. Everyone is kind and respectful. Onboarding was thorough and straight to the point. Home time is never an issue. It's only 50 cents a mile, but they do offer lease. Okay, so it's 50 cents a mile for folks that are not lease is how I'm taking this. But again, this was from last year. The rider policy minimum age is 5. So if you have children under 5 or nieces or nephews or whatever you want to take with, that's not going to work out very well. Okay, last one here because we're getting pretty deep into 2025. Horrible holiday policy. They don't allow anyone to take home time for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. They say this is to keep a healthy fleet. There is nothing healthy about that. I feel extremely demotivated right now. Pros are miles, cons is time off. Yeah, that's a killer for me. If they're not going to allow you to take home time on the two biggest holidays of the year, as okay, I can't say that honestly. I have missed a couple of Thanksgivings, but Christmas is a no-go. I never missed one Christmas, and I refuse to miss a Christmas. Also, birthdays. Birthdays for me were the holidays that I refuse to miss. I would spend my birthday out on the road, but for my kids or family or anything like that, that was super important to be there for their birthday. I was there for their birthday. I never missed a Christmas and refused to miss a Christmas. Thanksgiving and Easter, or not Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I think I only missed one Thanksgiving, honestly. And I actually got to go back up to Indiana on the trip that I was on and got to spend Thanksgiving with my OG family, not my family that I made. So it all ended up working out just fine. But overall, yeah, you got to pick and choose, guys, especially over-the-road drivers with families. If you're a single person, freaking live it up, dude. If I was single, no family, no kids, no responsibilities, I'd be living out of the truck all year round. I would work for 2 days a week, go home, or go take my home time anywhere in the country I wanted. If I wanted to go to Maine for 2 weeks or Maine for a week, I'd take a trip to Maine, park the truck somewhere, get an Uber, hotel, live it up for a week, and then get back into the truck, go to work for another couple months. Save money like nobody's business, and no house, no stuff at the house. All you gotta do is pay for your phone bill and some food. You're good to go, man. So overall, national carriers, not a whole lot of information on their website. Their reviews are pretty mixed. Some issues with communication, getting paid on time, a little bit of issues with home time. Just based off of this information, again, I don't remember what the recruiter had said, but I will post that here within the next week or two over onto the Discord server. Check that out if you want to hear directly from, and it's not even directly from the recruiter, directly from me about what the recruiter had said. How about that? I will definitely do that. What about Kim? What about Kim TS? I'm not sure what that is. Let's see here. Martin and Mesilla Valley, I will probably do a deep dive on them. Let me look on Mesilla Valley real quick. I do believe they require experience. The MVT. Yeah, they require 6 months of experience. So a lot of these companies are upcoming in my deep dive list. I have a whole list of companies that I plan on doing a deep dive on. The only thing that would possibly derail that is if I see viewership start to dip drastically. I know a lot of people are starting their trucking career looking for information, so those videos have done fine. But at a certain point, you should know what you're looking for. So I do predict there to be a dip in the viewership on some of these companies that require experience. But I definitely have a lot of these companies coming up in deep dives here very, very soon, especially that 6 month mark. Like I said, the next one coming out is my deep dive on PTL. That was the first company that I started with, so it's an interesting video here in my perspective from 10 years ago, what the company was like and all that. So that one's coming out next. After that, we are jumping into 6 months of experience required. Heartland Express, CRST, Ozark Motor Lines, Martin, Decker, Super Ego. I'm not doing them. They don't deserve a spot on my channel. Central Transport's one. That's a local LTL company. Hirschenbach, probably not going to do them. I believe they are lease purchase as well. But I got a bunch here. Millis Transfer, Freight, K&B Transportation at 6 months of experience required that I have on my list to do. 9 months, 1 year, some special conditions. ATS, That was one somebody had requested in here, I believe. ATS is on my list here. They require 6 months of flatbed or 1 year of over the road. So I'll probably throw them into my 6 month benchmark for checking them out. Rotex and Walmart, they require the most amount of experience at 2.5 years of experience. So big list of companies to get through. Honestly, guys, I'm set for probably, we're going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about 30 companies, roughly, give or take. And I put out one video a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. And with the other ones, I'm set on the companies that I have to do a deep dive on yet for the next year, probably. About 6 to 9 months worth of content off of these companies. So with my intermittent live streams and things like that, we're going to be doing good. Got some requests here for like a 10-4 Logistics, USA Truck, some cryo companies, some other companies in here that I may or may not get to. But overall, I'm going to continue doing these deep dives until I see that it's not being helpful to people very much. That's ultimately the goal. So if the viewership starts to, have I already done Averett Express? No, I have not. I do believe they're on my list somewhere. Averett, they require 1 year of experience. They are on my list. Yep, they are actually the first one in the 1 year experience range. I do know after working a bit with First Fleet, they are relatively local over here. I've done some work with them in the past. Averett and First Fleet are two separate companies, but they're owned by the same brothers. So one brother takes over Averett, and the other brother operates with First Fleet. So they are definitely in my list of deep dives to get to. And that's where we're at on that. What other companies do I have over here written down? Yeah, Martin and Mesilla Valley, I plan on doing a deep dive on them. So I'm going to hold off on doing a shallow dive as to not detract from the deep dives too much. Any of you guys have any questions for me? We've been going here for almost 2 hours. I can already feel my voice getting pretty wore out over here. Anybody got any questions? I think we're about ready to wrap this thing up. Put a nice little bow on it with a little question and answer section. Black Skull, hey man, thanks for stopping by. He said he's got to get out of here. I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out. Look for, not in the next video, but the video after that. I haven't done any more recording yet, but look for these pictures of all your guys' trucks in this thing back here on the Cab Climb Club, and a couple of videos here. You'll see it in there. We got Black Skull here with TMC. We got Julian with Halver Lines. What else we got here? President Not Sure went with NFI and became a yard jockey. And then we got Bagel Ammo, who became a concrete roller truck driver. And then Morzahajadu, I don't know how to say that. Oops, sorry, I got that upside down. Went with Well Truck Leasing as the first company. So all those folks are going to get added to the Cab Climb Club. Last call to action on this for the Cab Climb Club. If you've seen any of my content and you found it helpful, send me a picture of your truck. As soon as you get into your first solo truck, I want to see it. I love looking at trucks, no matter what they are. I like seeing them in the back of my my studio here. I'll probably start weeding out some of the ones that have been up there for quite a while. I know the chat box here is right in the way of that. Let me see. Let's move that over there. But yeah, like some over here, we got, this one was from the Hossicle. He was one of the very first members on the channel. He's since moved on, done some other stuff. We got B. She's been up there for quite a while. She's over on the Discord server, actually the only moderator over there. But she's been up there for quite a while. So I'll probably start filtering out some people, either that or go to the store and just get a bigger bulletin board. We'll see, because I actually use that spot for another picture in the new channel that I launched with my brother called Brazen Banter. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out, man. It's definitely a good way to get to know me as a human. I know I lead this channel with a lot of personal information, or not personal information, but company information, knowledge, facts, things like that. And I don't put a whole lot of me into the videos. And a lot of that is due to privacy. And I also feel like my opinion on things within the trucking industry isn't as important as the information. So I want to lead with information. This way, I don't know. I just don't feel like my opinion matters a whole lot when there's plenty of information to be had when picking a company and things like that. So I give a little bit of it, but overall I leave me out of it a whole lot and just lead with the information. Not the case over on Brazen Banter. It's podcast style set up in such a way that it's just me and my brother goofing off, hanging out, talking about stories on the internet and giving our twisted humor side of things. And it's very much so me, very authentic me. So if you're interested in who Trucker 219 is, as not Trucker 219, but just plain old Zach, that's a great way to do it. And it's good to listen while you're going down the road. So check that out if you'd like to. Brazen Banter over here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all that fun stuff. And that's the last I'm going to plug that. System transport or next time. Let me see. Buddy, I think you requested the CB Freight, ATS is coming up. System transport, yeah, you had requested that one. We'll wrap it up with that. I'll go ahead and do that one real quick. Just a quick look on the website and things like that. But if you guys have any questions in the meantime while we're doing that, leave them down below. We'll finish out with system transport, see what they're all about, and we'll wrap this thing up. I don't think I've ever heard of this company. Okay, system, what is it, Fares Shaker, system transport, we are over here now. Do you have a zip code for me? Hey Matt, good evening to you, buddy. Have a good night and rest of your weekend. It's been awesome having you in here, bud. Mr. Shaker, if you got a zip code, if not, I'll go back to Atlanta over there. I think I got that one memorized. Super easy. 30303. 0 results found for that zip code. I'm not going to shout that out live night. Okay, California. Okay, so this must be a West Coast company then. Got it. That might be actually helpful for a lot of people. 9 months of experience required, but it's a flatbed A regional driver. Their logo's pretty cool. All right. Regional dedicated local or over-the-road routes available, hiring in all divisions. Spokane, Washington, Fresno, California, Phoenix, Arizona, Enos, Texas, Denver, Colorado, Works of Meade, Colorado, and Kansas City, Missouri. So this is definitely a West Coast company, south, southwest. Home time varies by division. Speak with a recruiter. Weekly pay. Full-time drivers on this fleet can make $903 to $2,199 per week. That's a pretty fair number. I mean, that's a wide range, but Not too bad. Annual pay, full-time fleet drivers can make between 46 and 114 per year, depending on experience, routes, regular attendance, and length of service. Full pay package also includes other accessorial compensation, including TARP pay, stop pay, detention pay, border crossing, safety bonuses, and over-dimensional pay as appropriate. All right, flatbed driver rates are 48 to 79 cents per mile, depending on experience. So being that they require, 4 months of experience required? Yep, 4 to 6 months. I'm guessing that 4 to 6 months is at that 48. Now, being that you are on the West Coast, that's probably not going to be a whole lot of money for you. That being said, companies like the McElroy, Melton, places like that are paying more money starting out than 48 cents per mile than 4 to 6 months of experience. So drivers fresh out of CDL school or just starting with a lot of companies are starting in flatbed higher than 48 cents per mile overall on average. So having to come to a company making less or about the same as what you would make at a starter company, that's a hard sell for those individuals. That being said, with the limited amount of companies that are over on the West Coast, California specifically, this might be your best shot. Like I said, I've only ran across 3 or 4 companies now that are operating on the West Coast. Home time varies depending on route, pet policy, and guest rider policy. System transport does not allow pets. However, it will allow drivers aged 7 and up after 90 days of safe driving. So you got to work for them for 3 months before you can take your kids on board, or your spouse, or your aunt, or your great cousin Judy. They are offering health, dental, vision, health savings, 401k, life insurance, employee assistance, transition pay, orientation pay, accrue of 1 hour of sick time per 30 hours worked. Then 1 to 9 years, 80 hours PTO. Okay, so between 1 and 9 years of experience, you get 80 hours of PTO is the way I'm taking it. 10 plus years of experience, you get 120 hours of PTO. And 1 hour of sick time per 30 hours worked. If you're an over-the-road truck driver, you should be able to accomplish 60 hours a week. So theoretically, you're getting 2 hours a week, 2 hours per week of sick time. So effectively, I mean, that's a pretty good policy. I'm not mad at that. Required CDL 21, 4+ months of experience, safe driving, no more than 6 jobs in the last 3 years. That could be problematic for some people. That being said, if you're jumping around between jobs every 6 months, I suppose that's not a great look, but that's their policy. Take it or leave it. Background check is required, drug test, clearinghouse results. For all flatbed driver opportunities, the driver must be able to physically lift a 90-pound tarp onto a 5-foot high platform twice. System transport will test this during orientation, and flatbed drivers tarp about 70% of our loads. This is required. Okay, so I'm guessing that they have some stuff that's not flatbed, because it specifies if you are going to be flatbed, it is that. Okay, let's see if we can find some reviews on these guys. $225 reviews, that's quite a bit. 3.4 stars. Again, newest, we're looking at July 14th, so just a couple of days ago. The hours can be long, but within reason. A lot of drivers are wonderful and very helpful. A great atmosphere to work in, and coworkers are great to be around. Okay. Over the road driver out of Texas, a 4-star. Pretty good miles. Enjoyed it. Was my first trucking job. Driver manager did his best to keep me rolling. Once had a few minor issues with them, but all in all, a solid company to work for. Okay, long hours, but a good culture. Good company to work for. Drivers will call after hours. Okay, this is a driver manager, but you won't be in office over the weekend, which is nice. Okay, so they're willing to answer their phones from home. That's pretty cool. Another 5-star here, truck driver, good company, just pay can be low and inconsistent. That stinks. I don't know why you would give a 5-star review if you got some critiques to say. Pros is flexible home time, cons is low pay at times. Look, if you're getting paid by mileage, you can't expect a consistent paycheck. It's impossible. One week you'll get 1,500 miles, the next week you'll get 3,000 miles. It's just the way it works. Sometimes, depending on how the cutoff for the pay is, say it's Thursday at midnight, sometimes you'll work Friday through Sunday, and that will roll over to the next week's pay. It's just the way it goes. So it's all about the balance overall for the course of the year is what you want to look at, or monthly. Week to week, it can vary drastically. So keep that in mind. If you have a really good week, think about where your hours are, or your miles are. If it's more heavy on one week, but you started the load on Wednesday and you didn't finish it till Friday, that load automatically rolls over to the next week because you didn't finish it in time. So the first week is going to be short, but the next week is going to be fantastic, and vice versa. The same problem can happen backwards. So keep that in mind for you new drivers out there. Company basics, an anonymous, good place to start learning flatbed and refrigerated freight by going over the road driving. Good equipment, 5 years old Kenworth trucks, APUs, fridge, etc. That's cool. I'm glad that they actually somebody listed that. I know that's a question for a lot of people, is whether they have APUs or fridge or whatnot. A lot of times that's not listed on the website, so you do end up having to call the recruiter to get that information. April 2026, 1-star, hard to work for. A CDL driver out of Washington. Low pay for flatbed, hard to work for. Dispatch and managers don't look over load before it is sent to you. You're treated like toilet paper because you have 50 other drivers waiting for a truck. That's a pretty rough review. And I would agree at that 48 cents per mile, I believe it said. That is relatively low for flatbed, especially somebody that's got a bit of experience. That's definitely on the lower end, and especially for West Coast. California, I know the cost of living is significantly higher. Same thing with Washington, and so on and so forth. 4-star review from April. Good place to start to understand the industry. Okay, this is a trucking job that you're out for a week, home for 34 hours. Okay, so that's got weekly home time, it looks like. And trucking is not for everybody. I myself find it difficult being away from home for a week. Yep, trucking ain't for you, bud. If a week is too long to be away from home, you're going to have a tough time, especially in the beginning. There are local jobs, and you can start local jobs with no experience, as we've seen in a lot of the cab climb clubs today. But overall, it's going to be difficult. And realistically, it's a good experience to be over the road for a short time. At least, if nothing else, to see the country, to get some understanding of the industry and what other drivers have to go through, and see different parts of the country, man. I mean, growing up in a small town in Indiana that I hadn't left except for over to Chicago or up to Michigan, very rarely. All my perception of what the United States was based off of movies or TV shows or whatever. That being said, they nail the accents in those movies. You go over to the East Coast, you're going to get the Brian Griffins and some Soprano stuff going on. Out west, it's pretty similar to Midwest. A little less with the Canadian accents coming into there, but anyway, it has been a joy to go over the road as a truck driver. It was tough, especially with a family and kids, but it's a good experience overall. I think everybody should do it at least for a little while. Somebody had said that they haven't been home since June. Buddy, take some home time. Yeah, you got to take some home time, man. I mean, that's a month out at a time. Month to 2 months is what I was spending towards the end of my over the road time. But make sure, even if you're not going home, at least take a few days off out on the road for a 34-hour reset or whatever. Experience some of the country. Go check out the Grand Canyon or Mount Rushmore or any of the other wonderful places that this country has to offer. Enjoy it. Don't get stuck in the truck. And that's that. Well, I appreciate I don't even know what these trophies are, but I got a couple of goat trophies from Munchman and Faraza Shaker. I cannot pronounce that, but I apologize. But cool. Thanks for the trophies. I did share my pay info with Melton in the Discord. Thank you for sharing that information. It is definitely something that is a benefit to other drivers, knowing what's going on, especially with the companies that they're curious about. So I appreciate you doing that. I really appreciate you doing these shallow and deep dives. It is so helpful to have an experienced driver tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, I try to, guys. Things have changed so much since I started trucking, and I try to keep up with it as best as I can and give you guys the red flags to look out for. If things seem off, something seems not right, I try to call it out on that. So I definitely appreciate you noticing that, and I do hope that the knowledge that I'm giving you guys is helpful. I don't always feel like it's super helpful to you guys because honestly, 90% of the stuff I do on this channel you can do yourself, and realistically the only value that I'm providing is my experience, so I try to add that as much as I can. So also, any plan to do more reaction videos to semi incidents? I really enjoy them, and it was helpful to watch you break down them. What they could have done differently. Yeah, so if you're relatively new to my channel, when I first started this almost 2 years ago, being serious about being a YouTuber and not just a truck driver, I was doing a lot of crash reactions, reacting to compilations of people's crashes and stuff, and seeing what we could do better. I think I've pretty well gone through as much as I could go through on that. I doubt I'll get back into that reaction space a whole lot. Number one, I'm getting to the point now, channel size wise, I can't really be ripping off a bunch of people's videos and not get in trouble for it. When it was earlier on, I didn't have so much of an issue because nobody cared about somebody who had 43 subscribers. So those live in infamy. Some of them have been taken down because they have been copyright claimed. And actually getting through on these compilations to who the original video was from is a very difficult task to achieve. So I got to be honest with you guys, I was just ripping off these videos and reacting to them and hoping that fair use policy covered it, and that I was actually adding enough value to it to where it was changing it from the original content to being something different. So that's where I'm at with those reaction videos. Probably not. If I do find something interesting I want to talk about or makes a point, I'll definitely do a reaction. I did one of the lawyer ones where some guy was in an accident and had to do a deposition with the lawyers. So I got into that one a little bit. That one's done pretty good. The channel and Discord have both been very helpful in determining which company to start with. You are appreciated. Thank you, Elroy Ellery Doro. I think I got that right. I appreciate you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for taking your Saturday and hanging out with us. It's been really cool chatting it up with you guys, helping you guys look at some companies. Unfortunately, one of them seems to have gone out of business here. That Mahal out of Bakersfield. But overall, I think we got to pretty much everybody that I don't intend on doing a deep dive on. Um, so glaucoma, that's a great username. Glock like the gun. Decided to start with KLLM. That's awesome, man. Look, no matter how I rate these companies, whether I say okay or no way to them, ultimately it's totally up to you guys. Some things are more valuable to you than others, but that's my way of adding my own personal opinion and stuff into the videos. This way, it's not just doing exactly what everybody else can do, which is look up the information and then record it. Would you be interested in seeing rates for trucks around the country? Seems like good content. Would you be interested in seeing rates for trucks around the country, like rates from freight brokers and stuff? Is that what you mean? For owner ops? Yeah, dude. I mean, I'd love to talk to some owner operators. I've reached out to a couple who've commented on my channel a little bit and just have a conversation with them. I know a little bit about owner operating, not from personal experience, but from just talking to people within the industry over my career. Got a lot of good advice from a lot of good people. Watch other people make mistakes and try to learn from other people's mistakes. So if I chose to get into it, I didn't make those mistakes as well. Never seemed that interested in being an owner operator to me. That wasn't something that I ever really strived to do. Yeah, there we go. That's not something that I really strive to do, but I definitely appreciate those that do. It'd be super cool to get your own truck and chrome it out and cruise down the highway and do whatever you want with your truck or to your truck and live the over-the-road dream. So, yeah, that's definitely something that I'd be interested in. If you have that information, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to do a Discord call or a Zoom call or something. 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to record every conversation that I have because I enjoy the conversation, but I also enjoy making content, so why not do both? So if anybody's open to doing that for any of the companies you've gone to work for, I've recently considered the idea of doing a driver spotlight and taking the time to hear from you guys and what your experience has been like working for whatever company, and just ask you some questions like I do on the deep dives for individuals that I actually get to talk to, which is pretty rare. So if you're open to being in a video chat and on a Trucker 219 video, and obviously be respectful to the content, I try to keep it pretty clean, and also just be honest and share your perspective and your experience, good, bad, and ugly. I'd be open to doing something like that in the future with somebody. So shoot me an email, thetrucker219@gmail.com for my email. You also can reach out to me on Discord. I'm not in Discord a ton these days, just because you guys are killing it over there. You guys are taking care of each other exactly like I intended this thing to go, and I didn't want it to be a Trucker 219 has to be in there helping everybody out nonstop. The goal is to create a community, not just an oligarchy or whatever it is where King Trucker 219 rules over his constituents and whatnot. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be a community where we all helped each other out. I get in there and chime in from time to time. I'm open to receiving messages in there too, so add me as a friend or whatever you have to do to send me a message. And Discord, email, comment on the channel, whatever you guys got to do. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. So, hey, is it possible to be successful in trucking even with autism? Yeah, actually, I haven't talked to him a whole lot, or really much at all, but over in the Discord server, there is a gentleman who has the username, The Autistic Trucker. So it's definitely possible. It's possible to be a truck driver and be deaf. It's possible to be a truck driver and be an amputee. Like, there's nothing that's impossible in this world. You just got to be able to take it on. And somebody that has lived a life dealing with that special need, dude, you're going to conquer the whole freaking world. Like, That's tough. That's tough to find acceptance and things like that. Living with those conditions, not conditions, that's a bad way to say it, but living with that thing a part of you. Like, it's tough. So, like, if you can get through life thus far, having challenges, you're gonna be fine. You'll be just fine. Yeah, I've seen a guy with autism with Milton. He's been here a while. Yeah, it's definitely possible to do anything. Um, Look at me. I'm 300 pounds and I'm still a truck driver. You can be fat and be a truck driver. Rates on the load board for flatbed versus reefer trucks, etc. Yeah, I don't have access to any of the load boards. There are the free ones that are out there. Um, and I haven't got into it a whole lot, but I have talked to people regularly that are owner ops. But like I said, send me an email. Um, Fatly F says autism is a superpower in truck. You just sit in the seat and hyper focus, and when you're done driving for the day, you disassociate in peace. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that might be the perfect career for that challenge there. And yeah, I mean, if you're not a people person, trucking is definitely it. If you are a people person and you like to be around people, it can get depressing. I'm not going to lie. I'm very much so a people person. In general, like once I get to know somebody, I'm super friendly and super nice to everybody. Um, like walking through Walmart, though, I don't try to stir up conversation with absolutely everybody most of the time. But overall, like, yeah, I mean, it was tough for me being an over the road truck driver because I do get energy from people versus losing energy being around people. Introvert, extrovert, that kind of thing. But I found myself being more introverted the longer that I was in trucking. And due to there being a major lack of human contact within trucking, I think that contributed to it. So I found it very disheartening to go into Walmart. I still hate going into Walmarts, but just like I wanted to get in and out of there. Like I didn't want to be around anybody. Shippers and receivers, a nice, hey, how you doing? Here's my pickup number. Okay, let me go back to my truck. Leave me alone. Um, didn't do a whole lot of chit chat and a whole lot over the road, except for my buddies that I had on my phone. And that's about it. So that's my take. Autism in trucking, absolutely. Depending on where you're at on the spectrum, I would say it would overall probably be a relatively good career. You don't really have to deal with a whole lot of people. All right, folks. The main reason I have an internet in trucking is because I don't have to socialize as much. Autism and trucking seem to go hand in hand in my book. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I don't know. I don't have autism. I have ADHD. Um, so I was able to tap into the hyper focus of ADHD while trucking. Um, and also, like, I don't know. It is what it is. No matter what's your ailment or disability or whatever it is, you guys can overcome anything. You guys are super strong, um, and smart and talented and honestly awesome individuals in my book. As far as I can tell, I haven't really ran across a whole lot of negativity on this channel. Getting into this, I expected to get a ton of hate comments and ugly comments, but overall, everybody's been super supportive and nice. And the random turds that like to leave negative comments, I give it back to them, and they pretty much shut up really quickly. But overall, that's that. All right, guys, 2 hours and 19 minutes down. My voice is about shot. I don't know if you guys can tell from the beginning to the end here, I'm waning fast. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap on this live stream. Thank you guys for taking time out of your Saturday to hang out with me and go into some of these companies and see what they're all about. Hope you guys have found this helpful. If you guys want to see more shallow dive lives, more live streams, I've been trying to do one, either every month or every other month. Trying my best to make sure that I get to chat with you guys. This is my way to make a personal connection with you guys where it's not always coming across in the video so much. And I enjoy answering your questions, talking to you, giving you guys advice, all that fun stuff. So I'll keep doing them because mainly because I enjoy doing them, not because I find them to be the most helpful. I feel like the deep dives do a better job in that, but I enjoy spending the time with you guys. So again, I appreciate you guys taking the time today, and that PTL video is coming out soon. All the last little plugs here, Cab Climb Club, lots of pictures fixing to go up there. If you're just getting started, jumping into your own truck, send me a picture of your truck. New channel with me and my brother, chance to get to know me a little bit more personally. It's called Brazen Banter. Check that out if you haven't already. What else do I want to plug? Memberships. Memberships on the channel are like $1.99 a month. Special badges, emojis, shout out in a video. I got an extra one I get to do from this live stream. Subscribe, share with your friends, comment down below, all the fun stuff. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.